Hello, welcome once again to a Gaz Labs vlog. Well, today I'm heading on into the FTDX 10 remote control using one of these little bad boys. This is an SCU-LAN10 from Yaesu. On the back you've got some nice connectors on there. You've got a CAT 232 port on there, a LAN port, and a USB port, which we're going to plug this directly into the back of the radio. And also you've got this accessory wire as well, and these cables, the USB cable and the accessory wire, actually come supplied with this, and that will give us hopefully enough cabling to get this to work. It gets its power from the back of the radio, so there's nothing to worry about with that, and it does need to plug into your router at some point. Now there is just tiny little bit of issue that you're going to have, and that is this needs to plug directly into the back of your computer. So if you're repurposing a Mac, it probably, it possibly doesn't have something like an Ethernet port, so you're going to need something with an Ethernet port on to connect this up. There is no Mac software. Sorry about that, Mac people, but you can run Windows on most Macs with Parallels or whatever. But you do need to have an Ethernet cable. There is no Linux version of it. I'm really sorry, Linux people. There is just no way around that. And so it's really designed just for Windows, and it works very well on Windows 10. So most people have access to a Windows 10 machine, so you can get this to work fairly easily. So you need the configuration software and you need the remote control software. Now I'm going to head over to the computer now and show you where you can find this stuff. Now I'm going to do this real time because I can't remember where to get it all from, and it was actually Mark at work that downloaded all the original programs. So I'm going to do this from cold, basically. So what I'm going to do is, well, hopefully this will work and I can head you over to the desktop. There you go, look at that, perfect. So what we're going to do is we're going to head over to, in this case is the FTDX 10, but you could very well go over to the 101. In fact, we might end up going that way in a second, but let's go on to the FTDX 10. That's what I'm using at the moment. And I've gone to the file section and I'm going to scroll down here. There you go, look. There is the remote control system LAN10 software, and that's what we actually want to pick up. So we're going to download that, and down in the corner here we've actually got that downloading. So let me shrink that off and wait for that to come along. I hope you guys are well while that's downloading, and keeping out of trouble with this second or third or whatever they like to call it lockdown, and I hope that everything is going well for you. You hear so many horror stories, but what can you do apart from do what they say? Right, okay, that's done. That is down, so I'm going to drag that off and just put it on my desktop, and I'm going to minimize this out of the way for a moment. I'm going to open this one up. Is it going to open for me? There you go. And then I'm just going to drag that setup exe out onto my desktop, and that should have done that. Has it done it? It has done it. So now I can close that off. Where did it go? Hold on just 2 seconds. Don't know where it went. Oh, there it went. There it is. So make sure that is the right one. Compatibility, security details. Yep, it is. That's the one. So what we're going to do is, in my case, I'm going to run this as admin. Okay, running things like this as admin often helps, or however you do need to take a bit of care when you're doing it. All right, so I'm going to run that as admin just to make sure that it installs correctly. And you will get one of these boxes pop up. Don't worry about it at this stage. Just go to more info and just say run anyway. Okay, now like I said before, please take care when you're doing things like that, and we're just going to wait for this to install. I've actually bought the FTDX 10 home from work. Martin loaned me it for a couple of nights, and I've enjoyed using it. Just while this loads up, it's taken a little while. It's really good. I'm really impressed with it. I think if I were looking for an HF set now, I think I'd probably look for one of those. It would be, it'll be a good choice. Right, I don't know why this is taking quite so long. So, has it got any? Oh, it's a right. Okay, what you can't see off screen is there is a warning box that come up and says, "Do you want to allow this thing?" And what it did was it actually was just flashing yellow on the bottom of the screen, and it wasn't very obvious. So if it freezes on the round blue ring, just go to the bottom of your screen and just make sure there's nothing actually trying to get your attention. So let's go back to this. So there you go, and that should now be installing, and you should get this to come up with question marks on it. And that's done. Yep, and you get this box pop up. Keeps flying off onto my other screen. I'm sorry about that. And you're just going to say next. It's going to ask where it wants to install. Just leave it at default and just say next. And it says create a shortcut on the desktop. Yeah, I'm going to have some of that. The destination folder doesn't exist. Well, yeah, of course, create it, and then we'll let it do its thing. And that should not take too long. Okay, so it's now asking us to click on the icon. So that has flown over to my other screen. I do apologize, and you will get 2 new icons on your desktop, and those 2 there we can actually get rid of. So let me delete those 2. But now you have these 2, and when we set this up, we're going to need to go to the Yaesu SCU-LAN setup configuration thing, and from the get-go, I think it's admin password is the default password. I'll double check and let you know in a second. They're both the same. The username and the password are both the same. But what I might do is I might need to reset this box. So I'm going to stop recording just briefly, and I'm going to come back to this point in just a second. So just bear with me. Okay, so once you've got all the software and you've got the manual and you've got all that stuff on your desktop ready to go, we're going to need to know what the basic IP address is for us to issue this box. How we get to that is we go to our search bar and we just type in CMD, click on that, black window will pop up, and we will put in there IP config. Okay, return. And we now know this is the bit that we're interested in. If you look at your default gateway, we're interested in that part there, and we know that it's on, on one on the. This is pretty basic, the 192.168, but the next part can change depending on your network. We're on 1, goes up to 254 addresses. We know that anything between, I don't know, anything up in the upper echelons will be pretty much free, we hope. So I'm going to guess one, okay, because you could log on to your router and actually try and work out which ones are being used, and then you can associate this with a definite free one. But in my case, I don't have an awful lot on there, and I dare say that you don't either. So you can just pretty much guess one up to 254, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments down below. I'm sure that someone will. Now, what we need to do is we need to set the IP address to this box. What I've done is I've plugged the LAN10 box into the back of the FTDX 10 or 101, whichever you like. And how I've done that is I've just plugged the multi-pin accessory plug into the back of the radio in the accessory port, which is just below in the case of the DX10, just below the antenna port. It goes in, and it goes in with a little click, and then you know that's in. If you plug the USB cable, let me get this over to here for you. If you plug the USB cable into the box first and then into the radio, then it won't make you it won't confuse you if you get mixed up between the USB ports on the back of the radio. Then you're going to need to plug your Ethernet port directly into the back of your computer, and what we're going to do with this, we're going to have to address this box directly first. Once we've done that, then we can change the IP address to something on your network that is which is free. So you need to make sure that you know what your IP address is of the of your computer, and then you can just pick an IP address which is free. So we'll go and we'll sort that out in just a second. So let's fly over to the screen at the moment. So what I've done is I've disconnected my computer from, I've taken the Ethernet port out the back of the computer, and I've plugged the LAN10 directly into that. So what we're going to do is we're going to, first of all, we're going to get the manual, and again that's with the program itself, and you can see here the sort of setup of the actual box itself. And what we're going to do is scroll through. Can we see the address of the router? It gives you lots and lots of information here, but we want to, you might need to install this framework as well, the net framework. I'm going to give that a miss at this stage because I'm pretty certain it's already installed on mine. So let's double click the setup. Yeah, we've done that, and right, okay, so I'm going to need to configure the network of my computer to work with this 192.168.4.9.10. Okay, so let me show you how to do that. So what we're going to do is we'll scroll, if we go down to the bottom of your computer screen here, get the taskbar, and what we're going to do is right mouse click on the little computer shape here, the network here, and we're going to say open network settings. We're going to go down to the Ethernet settings, and we're going to say change adapter options. We're going to go to your main Ethernet port. Now if you don't know what this is, that you know, if you can see if someone can help you do this if you really get stuck, but I'm pretty sure if you've got one of these radios, got to this stage, you're going to be able to work this out. It's not too difficult. So at this point, if you just double click on that, a window will pop up like this, and we're just going to say properties, and we're going to go to the Internet Protocol version 4 TCP, and we're going to say use the following IP address, and we see here it was that one there. So we might be able to copy that. No, we can't copy it. That's a bit of a pain, isn't it? So what we're going to do is we'll put in there 192.168, and it's 49, and it is 10. Okay, and we'll say OK. Now it'll come up with an error just to say that it's missing its subnet mask, but Windows clever enough that it will fill that in for you. And once you say OK, and you say OK and say OK again, then you can close that window out. Now at this point we can just minimize that out of the way, and we can go to, let me close that, we can go to this one here, one with the gear cogs on it. Okay, and this is the setup utility. Okay, so let's go to that. So we'll double click on that, and then this box will pop up, and then what we're looking for is the default user, so we can copy that because the password and the username are the same, and we say log in. There we go, and now it's going to ask you for a new account, so we're going to create a new account. So in my case I'll call it Gary, and we'll call the password I don't know what we should call it, ABC 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. There you go. It needs to be quite long, otherwise it complains. Say OK, and it should. Why isn't it playing? Is it not working? Why is it not working? I don't know why it's not working. It was not this. Okay, I don't know what it's just done there. It's done something weird. I do apologise. Let's see if it will go in now. And if we put that in there, default user login. User, we'll put in Gary. And we'll put in A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Success. Okay, so what I did there was I pressed enter rather than the OK. I think if it fails on you, give it another go. If it fails on you again, it might mean that you need to do, I don't know, just to maybe restart the machine and try again. If it keeps doing that, drop me some the comments down below. Let me know that it's done it, or fly over to the Facebook GANS Lab Facebook page, and then maybe we'll try and get the community to help ask that. But just keep an eye on that just to see what happens. But anyway, there you go. So if we go back to the screen, it's now logged in. Okay, so we're going to say log in. We're going to use the password that we've made, and it's going to be your username. So we're going to say log in. Now it's going to ask us for our free IP address. Earlier on, we went back and we got the IP address that we know that we can pretty much use. So we know that it's going to be 192.168.1 or whatever yours is, and then we're going to guess one after that. Well, I'm going to guess one. Okay, so what we need to do is go back to this, and we're going to type in here. We know that mine's 1, and I'm going to guess that 123 is free. Okay, and I'm going to say apply. Just having a quick read just to make sure. I'm going to say apply, and it says connection will down. Okay, I don't know what that means. It just sounds like crap English to me. So I'm just going to say okay, and it said success. Now at this point we're almost done. So what I've done is I've closed the window down, and now I'm going to reset the computer back to the original configuration that you had prior to plugging everything in and changing everything. So let me show you that. So we're going to go down to your window, which we left open, to the Ethernet port, change adapter options, properties, okay, and then the internet protocol. And what we're going to do now is we're going to say obtain the IP address automatically, and we're going to say okay. We're going to say okay, and then that is everything done. Now at this point, okay, we're going to need to type in here the IP address that we programmed the LAN box for. Okay, and we're going to say, in my case it was 192.168.1.123. the user was Gary. That's the password we chose, and then I'm going to say log in, and now there we have it. Here you can change the account, you can add accounts. I can do the firmware updates and stuff here if there's a firmware update available, but that's it. So now the box is actually programmed. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to close that because we don't need it anymore. Now we're over to this one. Okay, now this is the this is the actual software that you use to work the radio. So we're going to open this up. It takes a little while, to apologise, and it pops off the screen, and there you have it. There is our wonderful lovely software. Now here we've got to go into the setup, to connection setup, choose your radio from the list, give it the user account, give it the password, which was ABC 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. We tell it what the address, the IP address was. So it was on 1, and it was, in my case, it was 123 because I just chose an IP address out of the air, and just say OK, and we'll say OK again, and that is pretty much it done. Now at this point we can turn the radio on. Over here we can turn the radio on. I can do that, and then we should see it all come up on the front screen. And let me get rid of that. So let's turn the decoder off, and there is our lovely screen on the front there. And then if we go over to this one and we click on the on button, oh, look at that, how wonderful. And we should be able to change all of the different bits and pieces here. The RF gain, can we change the levels, because that's a bit high. Yeah, I think we can change the levels. There you go. I'm doing this on the front of the radio actually. You've got control over the radio here, notch, filter, contour. So there you go, and you've got, using the wheel of the mouse, we can then flick through. It's sky's the limit. There you go. You've got a bit of control over here. You can layer things up, change the way things are laid out. One big screen, split into two, or I think I quite like it. I don't know. I think I quite like it like that. PTT. You can change the display here. What can you do up here? You can turn the 3D off. The only thing you can't do is mix them. And if you want to click on any one of these, don't click on this part of it. You want to click on the top part. So if you see a signal come in here, that's where you click, just on the top. Okay, and it should zoom over. So we've got something coming there, look. I think there you have it. If you want to set up the let's stop that for a second. If you want to set up the audio, the audio's done up there. You can set your audio to do whatever you need it to do, and help if you need it. But enjoy. Okay, so enjoy. It's good fun. It's a great program. So yeah, and it's not too bad. So do enjoy that. I hope you enjoyed this. It was a bit difficult to do, and I was trying to get everything done as quickly as I possibly could. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. Any questions, get over to GazLab on Facebook, or you can put in the comments down below. So stay safe, everyone, and see you soon.